Okay. Xavier Harris has officially committed with LSU after being waived from the Saints. So a few days ago, we reported here at LSU Daily on Daquan Wright going from an NFL team to LSU. And now, this has happened with Xavier Harris. Of course, he was one of the student athletes. A Louisiana judge ordered a TRO for, and that TRO states that temporary restraining order states that he can play in college. There is I believe an appeal on Monday. On Monday, August 31st. I believe that Monday, August 31st. There is an appeal in a Louisiana courtroom. If the NCAA wins said appeal, I believe Daquan Wright and Xavier Harris will no longer be eligible. But as of now, these two players are here. I don't think either is on campus yet, but they are both on the LSU roster, and assuming the NCAA loses in a Louisiana courtroom, which is very likely, these two players should be playing against Clemson. Jack Pyburn, former LSU player, 3 years at Florida, 1 year at LSU. He is also under a TRO. Friday, August 28th. So in 2 days as of this video coming out, we should hear late Friday or early August 29th, Saturday, on if he is waived or not. He is under a TRO, so if he is waived from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster, does not make the 53-man roster, he should be eligible to play. Of course, that all depends on the NCAA losing in a Louisiana courtroom on next Monday, August 31st. And that's very likely, so that they will lose, and all of these players will get to play. I believe there's also some interest at cornerback and quarterback. In quarterback, more depth, more players to get make plays on the ball. But at quarterback, I believe Lane Kiffin and the staff is interested in getting a quarterback for depth. Obviously, you may have heard Matt Moscona say this before, but there is a big gap between Sam Leavitt and Houston Longstreet and Elon Clark, the two backup quarterbacks. So just to make sure we have some extra depth in case Sam Leavitt gets injured. Of course, he got injured last year. Want to get another quarterback and another cornerback as well. So yeah. Also, after Xavier Harris officially committed. I could have reported on this yesterday, but there was a lot of stuff with the SEC discussing this and how this was going to play out that I decided to wait so we could get the full story. And now we do have the full story. So yes, ahead of Xavier Harris's commitment, the SEC called a meeting and a vote by the presidents of the SEC and their universities not NFL specifically, but any player that had signed a professional contract. So, and 15-0, I believe LSU did not actually vote, and then they didn't say nay or yay, they just chose not to vote. So 15-0, everyone else agreed. But here's the thing about the SEC voting to say no. If the NCAA loses their appeal on Monday, the SEC won't be able to do anything about NFL player. This is a court order. This is not an NCAA decision or a conference decision. This is a court order. You are violating the law if you don't follow a court order. assuming the NCAA loses, the SEC won't be able to enforce that rule. And it won't be punished, and it won't be forced by the NCAA. It'll be forced by the U.S. legal system. So yes, the SEC cannot. Not as far as I know. I'm pretty confident that they can't. And even if they didn't, I still believe Junior Talia-Maka out of Notre Dame, 4-year player, did not sign a professional contract, who was under a TRO, is now at LSU. Should be able to play as far as I know. Yeah, he did not sign a professional contract. He's a 4-year player at Notre Dame, under a TRO, and under a TRO is now at LSU as well. So yes. Yeah. So yeah, the SEC voting to say, yep, can't do that. But a court has said, no. No. I am presiding judge. I make the decision here. So yeah, it looks like LSU will get to keep their players, assuming the NCAA loses on Monday in their attempt to get an appeal. If they do get an appeal, I think that's a whole different can of worms. I'm not exactly sure. I think if they get an appeal, I believe the student athletes / professionals, just whatever you want to call them, aren't eligible anymore. I'm not exactly sure if it works. Again, I'm not a legal professional, but if the NCAA loses that appeal, which it's looking like they are going to, I believe these players will be eligible, and the SEC won't be able to stop it. Because the SEC could vote and say it's against the rules, but this is a court order saying, I don't care that it's against your conference's rules. And also, Matt Moscona reported on this earlier today. There could be lawsuits against the conferences. Student athletes / professional players, they say, oh, the SEC voted against me, but I'm under a TRO. Let's sue them because, they just technically violated a court order. So, expect lawsuits against the conferences. Expect the NCAA to lose the appeal on Monday. And expect, so far, Junior Talia-Maka, Daquan Wright, and Xavier Harris to all play at LSU, to all be on the LSU roster on September 5th against Clemson. Also, Jack Pyburn, I believe that it's pretty much a guaranteed assuming the NCAA loses the appeal and he is waived from the Tampa Bay roster. He will be going back to LSU. The NCAA appeal, I think, they're going to lose that. I'm pretty confident. As soon as we get the official appeal court ruling, Monday, August 31st, I will report it. That assuming LSU has won, or not LSU specifically, the student athletes have won. And Jack Pyburn, I'm not entirely sure that he will get waived from Tampa Bay. There's a decent chance that he stays in Tampa Bay. Some people disagree. Some people agree that he will be going back to LSU. It's very unclear. But assuming, and also he'd have to clear waivers, but I'm pretty sure he's going to clear waivers. I believe Jack Pyburn has agreed with LSU not to sign a practice squad contract with a professional team. So yeah, we now are the third player of this mini transfer window for the TRLs. Junior Talia-Maka, Daquan Wright, and now Xavier Harris from New Orleans. He played in, I believe, one of the preseason games, I believe. But now he is going to be in Baton Rouge, provided the NCAA loses their appeal, he might sue the SEC. It'll probably be like a class. I believe it's been class action lawsuits where like one group represents all the student athletes. All right, so yeah, that's everything today. That's all we have for you today here at LSU Daily. Again, I'll be reporting on Jack Piper. We should get news by Saturday, and then on Monday, NCAA appeal in a Louisiana courtroom. That appeal will probably be denied again, as I've already stated. So, assuming that gets denied, defensive lineman Xavier Harris is Daquan Wright, and Junior Taliamaka will be playing for LSU. So, yeah, that's all for today. All day here at LSU Daily, and goodbye.